Assalamu alaikum students, welcome back to new video. In the last video we have seen formal sector of credit and informal sector of credit, and rural area and urban area people get loan from the formal sector as well as from informal sector. If we talk about mostly in rural area as well as poor people in urban area, they approach to the informal sources such as money lender, traders, landlords, employers, etc. Why so? Because we have seen disadvantages of informal sector of credit. Disadvantages like they have to pay higher rate of interest. Terms of credit are not clear, not specified, like we sign agreement when we take loan from the bank, as well as unfair means when they need to collect their loan from the people, from the borrowers. So those are the disadvantages we have discussed already in the previous video. But still, those poor people approach, they take loan from the informal sector. Why so? First of all, if we talk about the rural area, where availability of bank is too less, lack of banking system in rural area is one of the important reasons why those poor people have to take loan from the informal sector. Second reason, even banks available in a rural area as well as in urban area, banks are available, but those banks are not ready to loan. Banks are not ready to give loan. They are not ready to generate credit for the poor people. Reasons are there. Very first, lack of collateral. Earlier I said that banks do not create credit in thin air. They count their risk as well. So without collateral, banks do not give credit. And poor people, we know that they don't have collateral, they don't have assets which can be utilized as collateral. So they are not able to get loan. And second thing, income. Their income is not regular. So bank look this as the risk, right? So as a result, those poor people are not able to get loan from the banks, and especially here in the rural area. So other hands, the borrower personally and hence often willing to give loan without any collateral. Who? Those informal sector, those money lenders, they are willing to give loan without any collateral. When earlier many case studies we have seen, when those landless laborers approach to their employer, landlord. So landlord do not ask them for any collateral, but they are willing to give loan. But banks without collateral reject the loan. So because of this reason, those poor people approach for the loan to the informal sector of credit. So if necessary, those people, poor people, can take loan again, even the previous loan still unpaid. But for banks, we know that previous loan we have to clear if unpaid, or if installment still pending to be paid. So in such case, bank denied for the new loan. Yes, if your payment is regular, if your installment regularly you pay, installment EMI, what we call easy monthly installments, right? So in this situation, banks can give loan. But if suppose you miss your installment, repayment of loan, in such case bank will not give you loan again. In many cases, bank put people in the blacklist. So those are the reasons. But for informal sector of credit, even previous loan still unpaid, those money lenders are willing to give a new loan, because they have potentially a huge profit for them, because those informal sector of credit charges higher rates of interest, and they do not keep record about their repayment and all. They just have their own records. There is no formal record they have about the loan. And one more thing that, as we discussed earlier, those informal sectors of credit, so like money lenders as well as landlords, they know how to repay the loan. Means actually they use unfair means for collection of their payment from the borrowers. So sometimes they harass people in a different way, and difficult situation for the poor people if they trap in the grasp of debt. In recent years, people have tried out some new way of borrowing loans to the poor. The idea is to organize rural poor, in particular women, into small self-help group, SHG. We have discussed before, means a brief description given before about the SHGs, self-help groups. So what is self-help group? Let's discuss about it. So a typical self-help group has 15 to 20 members, and they pull their savings. They deposit their savings in a group on the regular basis as they decide that how much, like from 25 rupees to 100 rupees, or that's their saving and their deposit on the basis of their condition, economic condition. So they usually belonging to neighborhood, possibly one village and neighborhood, and those people meet regularly, and they save regularly. Saving per number varies from rupees 25 to rupees 100 or even more. If economic condition better, their saving amount of course higher. So this is all about the ability of people to save. Members can take small loans for their needs. Here, saving of those members, as we discussed that 15 to 20 members regularly they save. So of course, the self-help group has some deposit there. So that deposit can be utilized to give loan. They use deposit similar like banks. They use deposit to give loan those who are in need. So needy people take small loan, small amount of loan they can take from their group only. But what about they are in need of higher amount? So if the group is regular in savings, at that case, it becomes eligible for availing loan from the banks. So in that case, a group opens a bank account on the name of group, not individual, but on the name of group. And if group has a good transactions, good amount of savings, banks ready to give them loan. So loan is sanctioned in the name of the group and is meant to create self-employment. Here individual, if you go to banks are not ready to give them loan due to lacking of collateral and regular income. But in the case of self-help group, banks are ready to give them loan, because banks here see that yes, individual may fail to repay the loan, but in case of this group, definitely they will repay the loan. So here people take a loan for various purposes. For instance, small loans provided for members of self-help group for releasing mortgage land, for meeting working capital needs like seeds, fertilizers, as well as for hiring machines like tractor and harvester, more for their household materials if they want to build house or renovate the house, for illness, for acquiring assets like sewing machine, handloom, for cattle, etc. So for various purposes, those self-help group give loan to the members. If small amount of loan, they sanction from their own savings, and if amount higher, then in that case self-help group approach to the bank for the loan. Now about the repayment. Most of the important decisions regarding the savings and loan activities are taken by the group members. So terms of credit, repayment method, all those things, means decisions regarding the self-help group, not taken by any individual but collectively taken by the group. As we discussed before, they meet. So in their meeting, they discuss about their strategies, their planning, their rules about the groups, etc. The group decides as regards the loan to be granted or not. It's not like that a member in need, so 10% the member will get the loan. So the group decides whether loan to be sanctioned or not. So the purpose, amount of loan, interest rate, repayment schedule, etc. These things, those matters, they discuss and decide collectively. Also, it is the group which is responsible for the repayment of the loan. Like I said before, when they take loan from the bank, now group is responsible for repayment because bank sanction loan on the name of self-help group. So even a person, means a member of a group, takes loan, entire group is responsible for the repayment. So if any one member take loan, in that case that member follow up by other members of the group seriously. Because of this feature, banks are willing to lend to the poor women, those who are organized in the self-help group, even though they have no collateral. But still, those banks are ready to give them loan. So that is advantage for the rural people, especially in case of women. They are able to get loan from the bank without any collateral, without any regular income, only on the basis of membership of self-help group. Not only these are the advantages of self-help group, there are some other advantages as well. Like self-help group actually help borrowers overcome the problems of lack of collateral. More, they can get timely loans for the variety of purposes and at a reasonable interest rate. Generally, money lenders and other sources of informal sector, they charges higher rates of interest. Unlike them, here from the self-help group, they can get loan at the reasonable interest rate, and even when they take loan from the banks, that also on reasonable interest rate, on the market interest rate, which is comparatively very low, comparatively low. So not only does it help women to become financially self-reliant, but also help in some other ways as well. Like the regular meetings of group provide a platform to discuss and act on varieties of issues. Like they discuss on social issues such as health, nutrition, domestic violence, job opportunities, etc. So in this way, self-help group is a very initiative for the rural area and especially for the women in the rural area. So this is about the self-help group. We know the problems faced by the people in the rural area, poor people especially. So here there is one more initiative taken by the government of India, Grameen Bank, means rural bank. So here one case study about the rural bank, Grameen Bank, not in India but in the Bangladesh. So let's see about it. Grameen Bank of Bangladesh is one of the biggest success stories in reaching the poor to meet their credit needs at reasonable interest rates, which started in the 1970s as a small project. Grameen Bank in October 2014 has over 8.63 million members and about 81,390 villages spread across Bangladesh, which is very good. Not India, but the Bangladesh, which is small country. So almost all the borrowers are women, almost all. This is one of the important features of the Grameen Bank in the Bangladesh, that almost all the those borrowers are the women and belonging to the poor section of the society, disadvantaged section of the society. These borrowers have proved that not only are poor women reliable borrowers, but that they can start and run variety of small income generating activities successfully. Successful borrower, successful lender, as a result they became that successful in the various economic activities. So, one statement given by the Professor Muhammad Yunus, the founder of Grameen Bank and the Nobel Prize winner, that the recipient of 2006 Nobel Prize for the Peace. Let's see his quotation on this. If credit can be made available to the poor people on terms and conditions that are appropriate and reasonable, these millions of small people, with their millions of small pursuits, can add up to the create the biggest development wonder. So I respect his statement, his ideas that instead of giving loan to the capitalist, better to give loan to the millions of poor people, those who are indeed suffer, those who are really in need, and they have power to make the changes, and development of rural area can bring development in the entire country. Otherwise, if advantage of development limited to the poor people, we do not count it as development, as we have seen earlier in the first chapter, development. So here your chapter is over. Let's summarize it briefly, what we have seen earlier. In revision, we will discuss in detail, but briefly, I am going to tell you about those main topics which we have discussed earlier. So in this chapter, we have looked at the modern forms of money, which is actually linked with the modern form of banking. We have seen the different forms of money, as in modern forms of money we count currency as well as we count bank deposit. We have seen how those banks create credit from the deposit, as they collect deposit from the depositors, those who have surplus, and they give money to the needy in form of credit, those who are in need. More, we have seen that credit available in varieties of form, and we basically those sources divided into two categories: formal sector of credit and informal sector of credit. And we have seen that different sections of the society, like rural area as well as urban area, poor people and middle class and rich people, how do they get loan? We have seen in the chart before. More here, uh, it is the richer household generally we have seen that they take loan mainly from the formal sector of credit, and those other, they generally take, other means poor, they generally take loan from the informal sector of credit. And we have seen in the last that self-help group. So this is about the money and credit. We will take revision soon, and soon I will provide you notes as well as the question answer I will explain in upcoming video. So thank you so much. Stay tuned.